We're Doug and Carrie Newby. We've been married for 18 years, and this is our story.
So I grew up in a Christian home and went to church every Sunday and Wednesday nights for youth group. I met Doug at a Christian college, and we had premarital counseling and did all of those things that are necessary for a healthy marriage. Now, I was so drawn to Doug because he was the life of the party. He was funny, everybody loved to be around him, and he was the opposite of me. I was just very laid back and kind of quiet and to myself. Well, they say that the thing you love about your spouse is something that you grow to really dislike after you're married.
I grew up in a Christian home, and we believed in the Bible and the truths of Scripture, and had all that upbringing to plant those seeds of just knowledge and understanding that marriage is a covenant, and getting together, and met Carrie at college, instantly fell in love with her. And when we got married, we did the premarital counseling, and we didn't have sex, although we were physical. I just didn't know how to be a husband. I realized it's not that I didn't have a good example, I just didn't have an example at all. So I looked to Scripture, and I saw that the Bible said that the wife submits to the husband, and I kind of felt I'm supposed to always have the answers, right? And I'm always supposed to be right. And if there's an issue or an argument or you're not sure what to do, that I was going to have the right answer and what I say would go. And I also enjoyed just kind of having fun and telling jokes, and I was extremely sarcastic, just very sarcastic.
So Doug was always really funny and sarcastic, and that was something that I really enjoyed. Once we were married, I would have to say that I became the focus of his sarcasm. A lot of times we would be hanging out with friends, and the biggest laughs would come from when I, as his wife, was the butt of the joke. And I would laugh and think no big deal of it, but a lot of times it would just really sting. And over the course of the years, Doug's sarcasm just really started to be hurtful, and there would be times that I would tell him that it was hurtful. He would tell me that I took it the wrong way, and I believed him, but I still had hurt feelings. So our daughter was born in 2006, and just prior to that, I would say I had reached the point where I didn't like my husband enough that I didn't want him involved in if I had a favorite movie or a favorite activity or a favorite book or something. I just didn't want to share it with him because he would find a way to poke fun at it or lessen it somehow. So our first child was born in 2006, and that started a course of events that just turned the heat up on our marriage and started to create a boil where there was already just this tension. Our daughter was born. A few months later, we were in a major car accident, and about that same time, we moved into Doug's childhood home and started major renovations. We hired a family member who was a contractor to do the work, and it was only supposed to last 3 or 4 months, and by fall, the construction has been going for about 6 months, and the contractor leaves one weekend and doesn't come back. A few months after that, Doug was fired from his job, and I found myself just in a spot where there was so much hurt and there was so much frustration, and it was just unbearable. In the spring of 2007, I started what would eventually become a 2-year-long affair.
So we go out for Carrie's birthday dinner. We're at this nice restaurant, and we're sitting across from each other. And she says, I have to tell you something, and I can tell the look in her eyes that this isn't a good I have to tell you something. She says, I've kissed another guy. It was this gut punch in my stomach. I didn't see it coming. I didn't anticipate it. I didn't know. It was just a whirlwind of emotions that I couldn't begin to really understand. What and why, and she was apologetic, and she said that she didn't want to do that, and she was reaching out to kind of just tell me where she was at, and all I saw was okay, my wife's stumbling. I didn't see anything wrong with what I was doing. It was all about, I need to help my wife through this. And so I said, well, if you need to get counseling, let's get you counseling. And I said, you know what, I'm going to fast for us a whole week and throw myself into spiritually so that we can fix this. And instead of submitting myself and saying, what am I doing? Or let's go to counseling together, I thought we could fix this on our own. I thought I was strong enough. I thought I was at a place that I wasn't, because I wasn't truly listening to my wife. I was just thinking, I'll fix this.
I didn't want to be unfaithful, and I wasn't looking to hurt my husband, and I definitely wasn't looking to leave my family. I just found myself in a position of basically self-medicating. There was a high and then there was a low, and the lows were miserable. I found myself really feeling like I deserved the hurt that I was already feeling because of what my husband would say. All the times that he was hurtful in the name of being funny, I would feel so hurt, and that would happen on a daily basis, it seemed like. So I'm at a place where there's so much hurt. And I reached out to a family member, a woman on my side of the family that I'm close to, and I met with her and just talked about my marriage. I said that I was just hurt by my husband so much. His words just really hurt. And he wasn't hearing me when I said that I was hurting because of what he would say. She tried to be encouraging and had some things to say, and I don't remember much from that time, but our conversation ended with her saying, at least he doesn't hit you. And that was true, but I felt even more silly for having such hurt feelings, and the fact that I couldn't get past hurt words, words that would cause hurt on a regular basis. So I went on, and we just managed to pretend and make do in our family. We were both working full-time. We would pick up our daughter from daycare and come home and have a couple of hours in the evening and then start all over again the next day. So we were able to go on for quite a while just making do. About a year later, I reached out to a different family member, another woman, and she was supportive. She understood because she was in the same town and had more interactions with us as a couple. She could see and understand where I was coming from, and she offered to help me move out, and maybe that a separation was a good idea. We ended that conversation, went our separate ways, and she had to leave the country on a trip, and when she came back, she didn't say anything and I didn't say anything as a follow-up, and she assumed that the relationship was getting better because I didn't reach out to her again. So we're going on almost 2 years of just, so much hurt and regular hurts. And I reached out to a couple of close family members, really trying to get some help or an empathetic ear at the least, and was just not getting it. And my husband was oblivious to my hurt. And we had the contractor in our family who he had left us in a desperate situation and taken all our money, and things just couldn't have gotten worse. By the spring of 2009, I had become friends with an acquaintance of Doug's, and we spent some time together, and I ended up telling her about the affair, and she convinced me that I should move out, and she had a grand plan for how to make that work, and eventually she told Doug.
So I'm told by a mutual friend that Carrie's cheating on me. Like has been cheating on me and is cheating on me. I knew things weren't good, and I knew that we weren't really growing together and things weren't really happening how I thought they were going to, but I didn't know that this is where we were at. And I felt like a victim. I thought, she's going to say, I'm sorry. She's going to say, don't leave me. Give me another chance. Something to show how sorrowful she was for allowing herself to fall into this temptation. And so we met at a McDonald's parking lot, and I was fully expecting an apology and how are we going to move forward. And I'll never forget, the eyes that my wife gave me were not the eyes I'd ever seen before. They were these eyes of just hate. I saw that she didn't like me at all, and I knew that this conversation was going to go much differently than I thought. And I didn't know where we were going to go.